THV 11 News at Noon starts with the developing story in Garland County. 2 children are dead and another person is missing after a boating accident on Lake Ouachita. Happened yesterday evening. THV 11's Mercedes McKay is live alongside Lake Ouachita, where authorities have returned today. Mercedes.
Michael, the Arkansas Game and Fish dive team is out right now searching for that one other person who officials say is an adult. So here's what we know as of now. Last night around 6 p.m., a fisherman called authorities after finding 2 children in the water who had life jackets on. Now, a couple of hours ago, officials have confirmed that that was a 10-year-old girl and a 5-year-old boy. The next of kin have not been notified yet, so authorities aren't releasing those names just yet. Arkansas Game and Fish officials described the boat as being a 14-foot flat bottom boat. Now, Michael, statewide, this is the second drowning and 6th boating accident this year investigated by the Arkansas Game and Fish. Now, we will be here all day continuing to cover this story and give you updates tonight at 5. Live at Lake Ouachita, Mercedes McKay, THV 11 News.
We're off to a sun-filled start to our day this afternoon, and as the day progresses, we could see a little bit more increase of that cloud cover. Continuing on, let's take a live look right now. Visible satellite, you can kind of tell where some of that cloud cover is kind of being placed in areas to our north. They're a lot cooler. They're going to struggle to even see 50 degrees for today. Temperatures right now mainly in the 40s to upper 40s, but here in central Arkansas this afternoon already is seeing temperatures in the low 50s, and will continue to warm up to the upper 50s to near almost 60 degrees. You can kind of see where there's going to be a temperature contrast because of that cloud cover. Could be a bit warmer to our south, where highs are going to be a little bit closer towards the lower 60s. Overall, a mix of some sun and clouds with a bit of a breeze coming in from the west later today. So looking ahead, what's in our forecast? So we're going to expect to see this warming trend continue. It was a little bit chilly yesterday, going to continue to warm up into the weekend. More of that sunshine in our forecast. And in terms of when we can see our next rain chances, still several days away. So I'll be talking about that and what else is in your forecast going into the new week. And that's coming up in minutes.
All right, Kraus, we'll see you soon. Arkansas native and former Dallas Cowboy Reggie Swinton is working to stop the violence in Little Rock. He plans to bring the community together in search of solutions this weekend. Swinton met with members of Arkansas Stop the Violence at the so-called mock cemetery dedicated to homicide victims. He's calling on people to meet at the state capitol this weekend for an event called the 1,000 Men Meeting, Us versus Us. It comes after 14 homicides in the city so far this year.
People know me as a football player, not really an activist, and I'm not an activist, but something's got to be done, something's got to be said, and actions have got to be taken to help curb this violence in our city.
That meeting is Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock again at the state capitol. We want to show you some wild surveillance video now. It shows a truck running into Little Rock's Hubcap Burger Company on Wednesday. According to the restaurant's owner, a second vehicle struck that truck, causing it to veer off Cantrell Road and into the building. The restaurant was closed for spring break and due to staff shortages, so thankfully no one was hurt in the crash. A nonprofit is hoping to turn a pile of dirt in downtown Little Rock into something beautiful, but they need input from you. The I-30 Crossing Project is widening the interstate. In doing so, the Department of Transportation has also cleared up 20 acres of open space downtown. The nonprofit Studio Maine is hosting the Envision competition. It's a volunteer group of architects, engineers, and others that are asking for the public's input on what this park could be.
We need to come up with a great plan for what to do with this property before it gets turned over to the city. Otherwise, we're looking at a big pile of dirt in the center of our downtown.
They believe it could become Little Rock's Central Park. To learn more about submitting your ideas for the Envision competition, just look for this story on thv-at-noon.com. Home prices are increasing at a rate not seen in decades. If you've been to a home showing recently, you know how frantic it can be. Economists with the website Zillow say there's a shortage of available homes out there right now. The number of listings has dropped nearly 50% since February of 2020, and that has sent prices soaring. Home values have increased 20% over the last year. That's good for sellers, but it's hurting buyers. Zillow says home construction slowed after 2008's Great Recession. Builders now want to ramp up, but the pandemic has created shortages of materials and workers, kind of a perfect storm. Experts believe rising interest rates could slow demand slightly.
It's about 30% more expensive to pay for a mortgage on today's home than it was a year ago. That's hundreds of dollars a month in some cases. And so, people who are right on the edge of, being able to afford something might be pushed out of the market.
Zillow predicts home values will climb about 16% this year. According to redfin.com, the number of $1 million homes has nearly doubled in the last 2 years. Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's Supreme Court confirmation hearing wraps up later today. Tension and emotions ran high yesterday when Jackson faced some of the toughest questions yet from Republican senators who did most of the talking. Nicole Killian is in the hearing room on Capitol Hill.
I love this country because I love the law.
Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson welled up on her final day of questioning.
The chairman refused to allow a witness to answer a question. You can bang it as loud as you want.
It was punctuated by several contentious exchanges, beginning with South Carolina's Lindsey Graham, who needled the judge over everything from whether she watched Justice Brett Kavanaugh's hearings.
He was ambushed. How would you feel if we did that to you?
To relentless questioning over her sentencing record in child exploitation cases.
Wait a minute, Judge. You think it is a bigger deterrent to take somebody who's on a computer looking at sexual images of children in the most disgusting way is to supervise their computer habits versus putting them in jail?
No, Senator, I didn't say versus.
That's exactly what you said.
To see the badgering of this woman as she's trying to testify, I thought was outrageous.
To people who felt your line of questioning was inappropriate, you say what?
That she would not answer my question.
It was a refrain echoed by other committee Republicans relitigating the same claims.
I'm sitting here asking you, and you're declining to answer.
I've explained how the guidelines work. Judges all over the country are grappling with how to apply this guideline. Do you have other questions for me?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Senators on both sides of the aisle tried to turn down the dial.
I'm going to try and spread some aloha into this room.
I think we should recognize that the jackassery we often see around here is partly because of people mugging for short-term camera opportunities.
But it was New Jersey's Cory Booker who delivered this closing argument.
And you did not get there because of some left-wing agenda? You got here how every black woman in America who's gotten anywhere has done. You have earned this spot. You are worthy. You are a great American.
There were other notable issues raised. For instance, Judge Jackson said she would recuse herself from an upcoming Supreme Court case on affirmative action involving her alma mater, Harvard, if confirmed. The committee is expected to vote on her nomination April 4th. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Still ahead, we go live to San Francisco where the Hogs take on Gonzaga in the Sweet 16. A very special guest will attend tonight's big game. Sports anchor Tyler Cash joins us live from the Bay Area coming up in 2 minutes. Corrales.
Live look across the metro this afternoon. We're starting to see some of those clouds begin to move on in. I'll let you know what to expect as we head into the weekend and when our next chance for rain is in the forecast. That's coming up.